Hey friends, I did this project from a book and it turned out really good and I wanted to share it with you because you might want to try something like it as well. So it's from this book that I got at the library, How to Paint Flowers and Plants in Watercolor by Janet Whittle, and there are tons of great tutorials in here. So the first step is the pencil outline. The second step is using this drawing gum or masking fluid to cover up everything I just drew. So all of the leaves, stems, petals, everything get covered in this masking fluid, which means that you can paint the background like this. So after the masking fluid is dry, you just do a watercolor wash, dropping in any colors that you'd like to see there. I deviated a bit from the tutorial and did my own color scheme, and it turned out beautiful, and I'm really happy with it. Now I'm going to just put in some greens. I've got sort of 3 different greens I'm going to use. Oh yeah, this one, this one, this one, and this one. And I'll probably throw in some yellow and brown to make it just like, you know, more like nature. And so this is just a simple case of doing sort of grass-like strokes all over the place. I hope it's a simple case. I hope every time I start a new step of a painting, I think, oh, I hope I'm not screwing it up. Just dotting in some darker color, darker greens there. And so what's going to happen when I peel off the masking fluid is that these white flowers are going to just stand out so nicely against the background and against all the green. So these are, I guess these are both leaves and grasses and random stems kind of all mixed into one. But yeah, anyway, that's the look I'm going for. So we will see how this turns out. I feel like that got a bit dark. It'll dry lighter, but I can also just do that and kind of get it more watery. So let's see, where else do I want to go with this? See how the blurs here just kind of suggest flowers peeking through in the background? Like, oh my gosh, it is such a gorgeous technique. I love how the brush just naturally makes stem grass shapes, you know, leaf shapes. Like, it's just so fun. And I also want to make sure that I'm getting nice darkness behind where the petals are going to be white, because that'll really make them pop. So I'm just kind of making sure it doesn't have to be all around, but enough that it gives it a little bit of a frame. Just make sure I'm getting some darkness around all those. All the places where there's going to be white petals. Okay, I am on the verge of overdoing it, I feel. Sometimes it's better to just kind of stop and give yourself a break and then see what. Now I feel like, oh my god, things are kind of now going in like weird directions, but I also don't know what's happening here. I guess I'll just leave it, more or less. Okay, maybe that softens it. I don't know, I just don't want it to look like there's a strong drop off there. But this is my first attempt at this kind of painting, so I should just not worry about it so much. Let's get some kind of larger leaf-ish type things going on here. And I think I better just let it. Well, now I just kind of want to even things out. This is like my, you get to hear what goes on in my brain, which is like a whole bunch of second guessing and why am I doing this? And oh, did I just screw that up? Okay, I think I'm leaving it for now. I'm going to leave this. I'm going to let it dry. I'm going to see how it looks, peel off the masking fluid, and then put in all the details. So I'll come back when it's dry. Okay, we're back and it's dry, so we'll just see how this masking fluid comes off. Oh, it's a bit of a satisfying peel. Seems to have basically erased the pencil lines beneath it, which is kind of okay. I mean, they're super faint. I can see them there. But it's kind of good because I didn't need pencil lines anymore. Oh my gosh, look at how cool that looks. I can see getting addicted to this masking fluid because boy does it ever look nice for putting in details and stuff. It's like so crisp. And for making the background, like you don't have to interrupt your stroke to do background leaves and stuff. You can just put the masking fluid and paint right over it. A little bit stuck there. I mean, oh, there we go. Okay, so now, following the instructions in the book, it says to soften the lines a little bit, which I kind of like them crispy, but I'm going to trust the process. And it says using a flat brush, but I don't think I have one right now. Oh, wait. That's one. Okay. So I'm just going to use a very little bit of water because I really don't want this to get out of control. Oh, that's actually nice. I feel like it makes it just look a little bit less green screen. You know, like when you have a cutout against a green screen. These ones I don't think I'll bother doing because they're going to get painted over with green. So the edge won't be quite so harsh. And I think I'm going to kind of leave some a little bit harsh and then some a little bit softer. Harsh or crisp? Okay, looking good. Now I just have to find my detail brush and we'll try the next step. Okay, for some reason, I think that it's a good idea to go in with yellow to start. This is me just jumping ahead and not following the instructions. But I think the instructions don't really talk about this much detail, so I'm just gonna wing it. I'm gonna paint these yellow because it's getting an overall kind kind of muddy look or darkish olive greenish look. So I'm going to try and combat that a little bit with some bright underpainting here, and then I'll cover over it with green and create some lines and veins and that kind of stuff. So we'll see if it works. And if you hear snoring, that would be Walter, who is right under me, because he is stuck to me like glue and he just loves being with his mummy. And he's a good boy. I love him so much. So now I'm just doing the shadows to separate the white leaves and to create some dimension. And I want to be just using the lightest possible wash of blue, green, purple, like any colors can be used for the shadows. But the key is keeping them light enough. So I'll just show you here on my palette where I'm picking up the paint from. It's like just in the lightest area, I'm picking up like molecules of paint and just making sure that my, it's probably a 99% water, 1% paint ratio. But you can see on that one flower that I did, it's so subtle, but it really works. In nature, you rarely see actual white because everything is covered in shadows and highlights and all those different things. So when we're painting white, we use the white of the paper usually, and then we just add in the shadows. So when I'm separating the leaves, I'm not painting the outline of the leaf, or sorry, the petals. When I'm separating the petals, I'm not outlining the petal that I'm working on. I'm actually drawing a shadow on the petal that's below it, if you get what I'm saying. So it's kind of a subtle difference, but it's a huge difference because it doesn't look like an outlined thing. It looks very much like we see things in nature. So it just turns out beautifully. And here I'm just fixing something. There was like I think the masking fluid went on kind of weird and there was like a blob on the end. So it didn't have a nice petal like point there. And it was bugging me. So I just fixed it. So really at this stage, it's a matter of just going around and kind of putting in the little details you want. So of course you could do this not with white flowers either. You could paint the flowers yellow or any other color and just use the masking fluid to really keep them separate from the background. So there again, I'm just laying in the shadow underneath the petal. And then the petal that's really light pops out and looks like it's further forward. And the petals that have shadow on them look like they're naturally a little bit behind them. So now it's just a matter of continuing on, adding all those little details, fussing with things until you love your painting. I just want to take a minute to show you my little faithful companion who's always by my side. Hey, aren't you a good boy? Yes, your mommy's sweet boy. Okay, let's get back to work. So I'm super in love with the way this looks. And I know it'll be a technique I use over and over again now that I've tried the masking fluid. I would say it's almost done. Like, I could call this done, but I've got a little bit of a bee in my bonnet to put some, just some pencil crayon lines in. There's some parts that I just want to define a little better. Oh, I already feel like I went too far. This is the way it is. Now I feel like I'm ruining it, but I gotta just take a deep breath and just do it. I think it's gotta be sharper. Okay, look, something like this, I just wanna kind of separate these two a little bit. And like here too, I guess this one's going over top like that. I always find it hard to know if painting is done. But one technique I use is just backing off and looking at it with from a further distance, if that makes sense, because we can get really tied up in like little details and be, you know, like obsessively fixing something here. But to the average viewer, they're not looking at it like that. They're looking at like the whole thing. So I will, as I'm working on it, I make sure that I'm backing up and getting a full view of it. And then I also will just prop it up somewhere and like kind of live with it for a while. So I'll walk by it and, you know, catch it out of the corner of my eye and think, do I like that? Is something jumping out as missing or too much or whatever? So that's some of the ways that I decide whether something is done or not. And I'm going to very quickly call this done because it's the kind of thing I could just keep picking away at forever and just adding a bit more shadow here and there. And I might come back to it and add a bit more, but in terms of this tutorial, I think it's safe to say that it's done and it's beautiful. So let's take a look at how it compares to the original. There is the original in the book, and dun, 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 there's mine. I think it turned out pretty good. I'm pretty proud of myself. I tried something new and it worked. Okay, so that's it. As always, I welcome your comments, questions, etc. I'm just getting this YouTube channel thing going and figured out, and yeah, I would love to hear from you. And see, now, because I didn't leave it alone, now I'm like, oh, I'm going to use the colorless blender and blend those. So anyway, this is close to finished or maybe finished. Okay, see you again. Bye-bye.